So I bought a few things and I want to tell you about them. First, because I really enjoyed the Lethal Cosmetics blush, well, their face powders, I got a couple more of them. That's not it. Here they are. So I got a few more shades. I'm really excited to use them. I am really liking Lethal Cosmetics face powders. I also bought some single eyeshadows from COPACETIC Cosmetics, and that's going to be a big portion of what I talk about. And then the last thing was actually a gift from my girl Jessa. She sent me this super cute little like bedazzled container that she made, and within the container she sent some samples of the Pat McGrath toner, that like glow toner, for me to try out. Well, for me to try out and see if I have a reaction, so then I can tell her. And then also two Color Fix Glaze from Danessa Myricks. There is a clear one and one, the shade is Truffle. So I'm going to try to use most of these things today. And I didn't just like get stuff for myself. I actually bought some stuff for my sister because she's been really helpful. So I'm such a giving person. All right, so I want to tell you a bit about the COPACETIC shadows. Now, this is my first time trying COPACETIC Cosmetics. One reason, I've heard really good things about them. The other is I enjoy the word copacetic. I use it pretty frequently. I feel like I use it regularly in everyday conversation. So those two reasons, and I was like, let me buy me some stuff. I think they were also having a sale. So in total, I bought 12 shades, 4 of which come in this palette called Lots of Love. What I like is that you can order, like if there are pre-made palettes, you can order the shades individually. I'm like, what word am I looking for? You can order the shades individually without the palette, or you can order it and they'll put in the palette for you. So I decided to do that for this little palette called Lots of Love. It has the name of the palette on the back, as well as the name of the shades, and then the brand name. Now, I was trying to put these into a different like empty magnetic palette, and I think rather than these being 26 millimeters, I think it might be like 26 point something, like maybe 0.5, because they're like just a little bit larger in circumference. Is that right? Yeah. I never said I was a mathematician, okay? But this has a matte, a couple of their Flakies, which I'm going to talk about, and then I think this is just like a shimmer here. Here's the matte and then the Flakies. Now, what I found out about their mattes is that the way that they press them, they do like a dry press. So basically it's just the powder shadow and then they press it with like something hard. Whereas if you've seen people do like fixing their eyeshadow and stuff to like repot them or repress them, oftentimes they'll add some sort of binder, or they'll add like alcohol, and like the rubbing alcohol, not the drinking alcohol, and they will mix it together and then press it. It doesn't sound like COPACETIC does that for their mattes. Let me know if you know different. Now, in terms of adding new single shadows to my little collection that's growing, I wanted to make sure to maybe like get different textures, just because at some point you can only have so many like different multi-chromes and things like that. And so COPACETIC has these textured shadows called Flakies, like F-L-A-K-I-E-S. So like, you know, when your croissant is flaky, they have Flakies. So I wanted to find out a bit more about the Flakies. I did use this little Lots of Love palette in an eye look earlier this week for work, and I was able to notice that there is a difference with the Flakies, which made me start to think, okay, I need to find out more information so that I know how to use them properly. So let me share with you what I found. Now, they have some different Flakies. They have some that are iridescent pressed Flakies. They also have loose Flakies, but the shadows that I have are pressed. So the iridescent ones shift from like a colorless or a white to a shimmering color, depending on the light. And these are said to work really well layered over darker colors on the lid, or as an inner corner or a brow bone highlighter. Or if you want it to be more opaque, you can apply it over a tacky base. Now, the colored pressed Flakies, which are the ones that I have, they are Flakies mixed with different colored micas. So that's important to know if you have any sort of difficulty with mica. The Flakies leave sort of like a trail of the mica, and they can be blended down into a shimmer. Also, again, if you want more opacity, yeah, that's right, shut up, then you can layer it on top of a tacky base. They do talk about the texture and the learning curve. So, you know, if you don't want to have to do all that, then you probably don't want the Flakies, because it is going to take a second to figure out what works best for you. I tried using a brush and my finger, and I was able to get the shadow onto my eyes, but it didn't have the punch that I was like expecting, and I think that's because I did not use the appropriate eyeshadow base. So I'm gonna tell you about that. Okay, so they say that the pressed ones they created because they're a bit easier to use than the loose, dry Flakies. So it's a newer formula, and they suggest that it's probably going to take some time to get around to understanding how to use them and incorporate them. The other thing with this brand is, according to their website, as of now, there are only 4 people. Like, that's the brand. That's like me, Rose, Jessa, and Dion. Like, it's 4 of us, right? So that does mean that it takes a while longer for you to get your product. I think they say 15 to 30 days, so that's like 2 to 4 weeks or so. And mine came somewhere in that. Like, you have to like agree that you're cool with that. And I appreciate that they're just upfront of like, this is how long it takes, so hold your horses, you know. And they came right at the moment where I was starting to get like, dude, where my package at? Like, right when that was starting, it was delivered. So I was like, I don't know how they did that, but it's perfect. And it gave me time to use the shadows a bit and try to figure out what I want to do next. So I figured once I start trying them with a different base, that is when I will share with you. So here we are. Now, I showed you the 4 shades in the Lots of Love palette, and the other 7 shades I just have in this magnetic palette from TKB Trading, so you can see all of those. And you should be able to see that they do look very textured. So even if I were to like rub into one of them, can you see that? There's just lots of texture on there, and they like don't translate as well just dry and with nothing to which they can adhere. So the base, eyeshadow base that I tend to use, they are kind of creamy. They're not very tacky. So I went ahead and got a new container bottle tube of the Nyx Glitter Primer. I had one, but I'd had it for quite some time. And it was just like time to get a new one. So lots of people have heard of this, the Nyx Glitter Primer. The other primer, eyeshadow primer from NYX that I have is their Proof It Waterproof Shadow Primer. I don't think this one is that. It's not very sticky. But this is supposed to be like the best. So, ooh, Butterfingers. So what I'm gonna do, are we gonna do this first? Are we gonna, oh, why am I nervous? Okay, actually first what I'm gonna do is use this little essence from Pat. I just want a little thumping on my face. Do you... Oh. Man. This feels like a lot of work. Is this supposed to be like this? Oh, it smells good. Oh, it smells really good. Is this supposed to be this difficult, though? Rose, what you doing? Okay. Do I look the same? I don't look different or nothing. It smells good. It smells really good. What you about to do with this? Pat McGrath Labs Divine Skin Rose 001 The Essence. So dramatic. Okay, so I am going to start with the Flakies. They do on their website, COPACETIC Cosmetics, have some information about applying them, and that information is from the Instagram of mjones5018. And they say that it's a very unique formula, but once you play around with it, you'll know how you like it best. And for a more textured, opaque look, they suggest using a goopy glitter glue like e.l.f. or NYX. Apply the glitter glue with a brush, and then use a brush or your finger to pat on kind of heavily. Don't rub, okay? For medium opacity, use a thin, watery glitter glue or setting spray to get the lid wet. And then you apply the product with a finger or brush. For all over sparkle or highlight, just get a little product on your finger and rub it in until there are no clumps. So I am going to do the glitter glue route. Let's get a brush. Okay, so I have some on this rougher brush. Ooh, this feels like nice and cooling. So they said use a brush or your finger, right? Okay. Oh, I'm gonna just go into this since I've used this one and I like pink. Okay, I'll start with this one. Picked it up. Ooh. Why I jump? Okay. Definitely some fallout. That is using my finger. Let me try picking it up with the brush we use for the glitter glue. I actually think that is probably better, huh? And they said to pat, not necessarily to swipe. So I am just patting. Now this is definitely a sticky primer, which I'm not used to. I've had the NYX glitter glue before and I just did not wear it a lot. But it seems like that's what you're gonna need to do if you want to use these Flakies. That's super pretty. Can you see that? I don't even know if you can see the shift. definitely some fallout. I want to compare to what it's like just using my regular primers. One of the ones I tend to use is the Sigma eyeshadow base. Oh, ow, why did it hurt? Eyeshadow base primer. I'm having issues. So I typically do that, and then I will blend it out with a brush that eludes me at the moment. So let's just use this. So you can see that this is a dry base. And so let's try same thing. Do you see that difference? It just doesn't have anything to like adhere to. So let's try a brush. I'm just gonna use the same brush like the other side. It doesn't have any primer on it. So I would probably be sitting here for a while trying to build this up to this opacity. What I'm gonna do is take this off and just use the glitter glue so that things can match. So I will be right back. I'll be right back, okay? Okay, so I've got both sides on. What I wanna do is I want to go into this shade here. I actually started to tap a little on, and what I'm thinking is that I will put a little bit of glitter glue on the back of my hand, and I'm going to, I don't know if this is okay, you guys, so don't do it as I say nor as I do. I am now going to tap into the shade. Can you see that? And let's try to put some on. Okay, I think that worked. I'm just putting a little on. So I can feel the like dampness or the tackiness of the glitter glue. I hope this video isn't too long. So now that that is on, let's go into the matte shade. I'm wondering how this will wear. What I did notice about the matte, I think because it's dry pressed, it has a very like velvety texture and lots of fallout. It's very like Pat McGrath. But it's also like super pigmented. But do you see that? Like, you're gonna get a lot of that kick up, I think, because it's like dry pressed. I do wish that this palette had like a darker matte. So as I am blending the matte, some of the flakies are kind of coming with it. So the matte I'm going to use is this shade called Over It by Sydney Grace. It's actually the same matte that I used when I initially used this COPACETIC palette. It's sort of like a pinky purple. It's blending okay. I think it's bumping up against some of that texture. So this to me is not a formula that you would want to use if you just want to throw something on, or maybe if you just want the boom pow flakiness, and you can just throw on a glitter primer and press the shade into the primer. Maybe that'll be fine. Otherwise, it's probably going to take you a second to kind of figure it out. All right, let me get a shade to kind of blend out that harshness there, and I'm going to put on my foundation and then we can move on to some of the other products that I have, okay? All right, so we've got the foundation on. What else did I do? I added a bit of liner. I am going to now go into one of my face palettes, or, well, the face palette I have from Lethal, or face powders. I'm going to use the one that is designated as a bronzer. Or do, hold on. Maybe I'll do the one that's, I'm gonna mix them. I'm gonna mix the bronzer and the one that's blush, but the blush is like reddish. I kind of like that. I'm using this Sonia G NOG Pro brush. These powders are super pigmented, so I want to go in with something that's going to allow me to build up the color and not just deposit a ton of it right away. I'm gonna use this Wayne Goss #2. This is from the somebody collection, girl, I don't know. I'm actually going to go into both of the pinks. Ooh. Oh wow, hi, hello. How are you? Hey girl. Oh, do I even need to? It's really nice to be of a darker skin tone and be like, whoa, that's pigmented. That's not a common experience, or regular one at least, that I have. It's nice to have to tone things down. Alright, so I'm going to use this Colored Rain lip liner in Queen Tings. Do a little bit. Alright, and I'm going to use the Color Fix Matte in the shade Valentine from Danessa Myricks. Oh, I want to use one of my glazes. Now this from Jessa. This glaze is in the shade Truffle. Has sort of a browny kind of tint to it, right? So I don't know that that's gonna go. But then this is clear. You can use clear however. So the matte Color Fix, they will definitely dry down like, that's my phone, sorry. This dries down, but when you put the glaze on it, it does make it a little less like dry. Because obviously you're adding to it. But sometimes I just like that look. Like, you want to kiss me. You totally want to kiss me. I know. And kiss myself. All right, here is the final look. Very pink, very me. Again, lots of pink vibes. The lip product is giving me my entire life. Thank you, Jessa and Zanessa. Entire life. The little essence, I definitely will try it more. It smells really good, but that also means if you are sensitive to fragrance, you might want to watch that. I think my cheeks are like glowing. Thank you, Lethal Cosmetics. And the eyes, I also really like. It definitely reminds me of a look that I would do with like a Pat McGrath Divine Rose palette. Now, it does seem like everything has dried down really well. And so, I mean, there's like a little bit on my finger that you can see, but I think the glitter glue is like the way to go with the Flakies from COPACETIC, because just using, well, if you want some opacity and you want like in your face, right? If you just want a little wash of color, then I think you can just put it on with your fingers. And if you don't want to be extra, if you just want a little bit of something. So I can appreciate that there are different ways or different tools you can use to kind of change things up, like most cosmetics. But I can appreciate that you can go from like a soft, ethereal look to like, I'm giving you all the pink vibes you will ever need in your entire life. All right, so what now? That's it. I'm about to go do nothing. Let me know. Have you tried COPACETIC? Have you gotten around to trying the Lethal face products? Have you tried the Essence by Movapat? Also, what about the Danessa Myricks Color Fix? Have you tried the different formulas in those? I think that's it, y'all. So hopefully some of this was helpful. Hopefully you had a little bit of fun watching me do my makeup. I'm sure that's super exciting for you, like best part of your day. Yeah, that's it. So I really hope you're taking care of yourself. Let me know what you're doing to take care of yourself. I moved up my massage from Friday to Monday. So I get my massage in a couple of days. I mean, so I also added something to Friday, like I added some work, but rather than canceling the massage, I rescheduled it. I am making progress. Hopefully you're taking care of yourself and your loved ones. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.